Now, it's true that the world is looking different today, and maybe it looks even different today than it did 6 months ago.
We are entering a robotic age. Robotics, AI, they are all part and parcel of the future. How does the two things can come together?
Robotics and AI is two sides of the same coin. China is in the forefront. This is not a copy or an example of something which is done outside. China is the first mover.
How many countries have you stayed at least 3 months in your whole career?
Well, it's only Norway, China, and Switzerland where I lived. So, but then I've been traveling my whole life around the world.
What makes China special? 4.5 years.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, we always felt welcome, and especially in Xiamen, if you've been there, you know it's a nice place. Yeah. So it's a
nice weather.
Nice weather. It's nice,
especially
very nice.
Comparing with Norway. Right?
Yeah, so it's and very friendly people. I think that's what we felt very welcome, and that was so. It was just a nice family experience, and for me, business-wise, it was also with the, this was the time of the 4 trillion package. Yeah. So the economy was really from after the Asian crisis in 2008, then the economy really picked up again. So it was a great time to be in China.
That's good. That's good for people.
All the high-speed trains, all the tunnels, all the roads, what we can use today, that was really when that was built. The new, I think it was 65 new airports being built in 4 years. Yes. So there was a massive infrastructure.
What's the great growth rate of ABB China that year?
Yeah, that we were getting used to like 30% every year. So that was really good days in ABB, and we were hiring a lot of people. I would always question when I asked for, I think we need to hire 50 more R&D engineers. It was kind of a question, why not 100? And that was, yes, why not?
How about now? How about the growth rate now?
Now we are experiencing very kind of different growth rates in different markets. Yes. Data centers, the utility space, more integrating renewables into grid, very good markets, high growth rates. And then you have others who say new build.
Smart building, you mentioned.
Yeah.
Right. Let's start with some big views on where the world stands today. Now, people say that we are experiencing some kind of paradigm shifting on 3 dimensions: economic, geopolitical, and maybe most importantly, technological. So you are CEO of a world-class manufacturing giant from Europe. How do you view this impact from your seat?
No, it's true that the world is looking different today, and maybe it looks even different today than it did 6 months ago. So, but this is how kind of what we get used to now, I think also as global leaders. It's to adopt to a new reality. There's been so many, if you look back the last 5 years, there's been so many changes from COVID to we had war, being in a war in Europe for the first time in 60 years. So the whole dynamic of the world has been changing a lot. And that's just what we have to deal with today as global leader in the industry and over global leaders in politics. This is so it's part of reality, and I think we have become much better dealing with it than we ever were. So that's on a positive note that we know how to, and for us to deal with lots of these changes when more of a regional setup in the world means that we also need to become more local. So we call it local for local in ABB, which is strategies that we support customers in the market where they are, no matter where they are in the world. And that we also do R&D or technology development and manufacturing and sales support in those local markets. So we always been, let's say, very self-sufficient in Europe if we go 30 years back. But today we are also very self-sufficient here in China, supporting developing technology in China for the Chinese customers, manufacturing, in all our 30 units and companies that we have all around in China, supporting our customers close to where they operate. And today also developing the technology. So that's the local for local. You call it here China for China, and that's very much what we do.
So let's talk something about the technology, the artificial intelligence, especially the generative artificial intelligence, which is a very hot topic. From the business perspective, the friends on Gen AI is a good news for ABB, especially your electrification business unit, because of the investment of the AI infrastructures. But people are concerning about the over-investment on that. Do you share the same concern?
We are still very early days in the AI age. We are starting to use it now and adopt it. And there is a massive amount of investment going, that is true, into the data center space. On the same time, it's still very early when it comes to this wide adoption of AI, artificial intelligence, in the different applications. So that is where you still need a lot of data power in the future. If you really want to scale it out on an even wider basis, the need for more data center, more data computing will be there in the future. And I think that's what we're starting to ramp up for now, but it's still very early days in that. So I'm not worried yet about an overinvestment, but of course we see that it is a big part of what we do in electrification. Yes. The need for reliable energy and secure energy into these data centers is critical. And that's where we, as part of our electrification business, that we help customers to get that reliable power so that those data centers never stops, and that all our apps, but also and in the future, the Gen AI applications will always work. And I see that the whole market will the more kind of new application we find where AI can be used, the more data centers, the more computing we need as well. I think that the backdrop of this is that we need to find more energy efficiency also on those data centers. Yes. That's a key important for us. We are on a decarbonization journey as a globe. And I know here China is in the forefront with the peak 2030 and the carbon neutrality by 2060. It's a big challenge for China to do it when the power, it's a lot of new renewables invested and being deployed, but at the same time the energy consumption goes up. Yes. So this is where energy efficiency become a critical element also for those new data centers. We cannot just grow and grow. We also need to do it more efficient way, in a leaner way. That's also a big part of that equation. So I think new technologies that will be developed here will also help there on the energy efficiency part of it, and that's important for us at ABB to help with those technologies. I think AI will be included in every part of equipment that we produce at ABB, and it's more of a kind of using this technology to improve product, system, or service performance. That's the whole idea. It will not be an AI portfolio, and the AI will just be part of your old portfolio. It's a new technology that we will adopt in more or less everything we do. And by that also, so the companies being the best of adopting AI will be the winners in the market. Those who don't, I think, will fall behind and die. Now, it's true that the world is looking different today, and maybe it looks even different today than it did 6 months ago. But this is kind of what we get used to now, I think, also as global leaders. It's to adapt to a new reality.
You said that the robotics business has begun to turn a corner.
Yeah, we saw there has been a tougher period for, I would say, the whole robotics market, because, and especially, I think, for some of the Western companies here in China, as many local companies have emerged in the last years.
Absolutely, we are entering an AI age. And people also say that we are entering a robotic age, right? Robotics is your expertise. So robotics, AI, they are all part and parcel of the future. How does the two things can come together from your perspective?
Yeah, it is for me, but kind of robotics and AI is two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
Because in robotics, in new robots, you have a lot of AI functionality. It's more about, it's the whole difference now between humans and robots is kind of disappearing, or get kind of the 50 shades of grays are coming together. So I think that's the kind of the change what's happening now in the industry. So AI is being deployed. I use the example of our guided vehicles that runs around by themselves in the smartest way on the factory floor, saving time and gaining efficiency. But it's also in the robots. And it's more to there to get, when we talk about even this topic of humanoids, it's to use...
Humanoid, yes.
Yeah, it's to get the human factors into a robot.
Yeah.
And I often talk about, it's about seeing, which is the visual identification. It's about hearing, so that you can talk to a robot instead of maybe writing a software code or programming. It's all the AI is part of the brain. Again, that makes it upgrade of the brains. That's the super brains now of robots. And then you have also the feeling and sensing, which again is the same when you pick up something from a box. You have visually identified what it is, and you pick it up. Not too soft that you lose it, but not too hard so you squeeze and destroy it either. So this is all these human touches that we are now getting into our robotics area. So, and that's as I say, together with AI, together with let's say the human spirit or the human capabilities of a human, that is kind of how now the whole robotics scene is changing. We've been maybe less focused on the two legs of a person, but everything, let's say from the waist up, that is very much kind of how you use a robot. On the factory floor and on the industrial side, and helping industries to become more efficient. That's a great opportunity for us as ABB, and it's happening a lot here on that field in China. So it's the place you have to be to understand what's going on. Very interesting market, tough competition at times, and therefore also we also need to up our game to stay a leader in this field here in China.
Let's talk something about the robotic business from ABB. And you told me at the latest annual report that you said that the robotics business has begun to turn a corner, especially in the US and China. Tell us something more about that.
Yeah, we saw there has been a tougher period for, I would say, the whole robotics market because, and especially I think for some of the Western companies here in China, as many local companies have emerged in the last years and done very well so. So this is as I say, the competitive field and the level of innovation is very high here in China. So I think that's just, as I say, that what we see, and that's the ground we're playing in. And therefore also ABB, we have also to up our game, and we have improved our performance here as again, playing in some of the more traditional markets like automotive, and especially now with the EV market being good. And that's also a very good market. We talk about still what we call the body lines, kind of the car itself, but also the paint side, which is one of the strongholds of ABB. So if you're driving a Chinese EV, it's with a very high likelihood that it's painted with an ABB robot. I hope you're happy with it. So that's but also here is a lot of these new application areas. That is where we also kind of need to and have now developed robots and products that is serving some of these new markets. And what is special here in China is that this is, again, China is in the forefront. This is not a copy or an example of something which is done outside. China is the first mover, and that's why it's so important to be in the market, develop in the market, listening to customers and partners and see what is going on and be part of that innovation. And we see use of robotics in many areas, which is what we call lighter applications, just on lighter loads, and then traditional industrial. I can say, when you have a robot that is normally designed to lift like 5 kilos, maybe here for some of that new application, 1 or 2 kilos is enough. And then the use of 5 kilo robots to lift is overspecified. So you need to make it simpler, to make it leaner in that robot, so it is really made for that application. And I think that's what we have done now over the last year, redeveloping a lot of the offering so it fits for some of these new applications in the field of electronics, assembly of PCBAs on power printed circuit boards, in all these new industries where if it's an assembly on a smartphone or whatever it is today but even in the now food and in the beverage industry as another example of where robotics is being used, but the precision, the speed is higher than ever. And that's where you need to continue to develop.
You are industrial
robots is kind of our starting point. So I think what as I say, a lot of what you talk about humanoids is to get human skill sets on a robot. Yeah. And a lot of what we do there, as I say, into seeing, hearing, feeling, it's all the humanoid specialities, but it's something where you also, with some areas we have worked on for many years.
You mentioned that China is a front runner on the front line of the humanoid robotics, right?
Yes.
And how can you collaborate or can you cooperate your industrial robot and humanoid robot?
It's this, as I said, that's what I tried to say. It's these basic skill sets that will be the same. If you have a good humanoid, you need to have, as I say, the hearing, the seeing, those senses, and that's a base technology that needs to be developed. Yeah. And when they are developed, you can use them on, let's say, on the factory floor. I think you should have more. That's what I try to say. This is more of the focus on the waist up.
Yes,
than the waist down.
The two legs.
Yes, because the two legs on a factory floor is not always. If you're going to carry a box of 50 kilos, it's much better to put it on 4 wheels and take it around than to have a person on 2 feet carrying a heavy, easy to fall over. That's why I say that. But from the waist up, it's important. The waist down, the 2 feet would be more if you're talking about having a service robot in your home. Yeah. 2 feet would make a lot of sense because maybe you have 2 floors, you have to walk the stairs, has to do these kind of things where 4 wheels would not be very practical. Yeah. So there is very you need to look at the application or what it's meant for.
Elon Musk said that the humanoid robots will enter the normal family, maybe less than $5,000 per the cost by 2030. He said that 70%. Yeah. Do you believe that?
I think it normally takes a bit longer time. We all talk self-driving cars. I remember 10 years ago we said in 5 years every car will be self-driving. We don't need a steering wheel or brakes or nothing. Still today, the self-driving cars are getting better. But I still have
not that good.
But not that good that I would trust, and I don't think you would trust, to sit in the back seat and be personal liable for if you hit the car and you will go to prison if you hit something because you bought the car. That's that equation still doesn't work. So I think it will take a bit longer time.
ABB, since entering China in the year 1994, ABB has witnessed the rapid growth of China's robotics industry. From initially introducing foreign manufactured robots to China, to beginning local production and R&D in 2005, and finally establishing the world's largest super factory in Shanghai in the year 2022. ABB has not only been a participant, but also a driving force in China's robotics market. Now, China is on the path of high-quality growth, which means productivity is a priority. How can ABB continue to help?
I think here, with our team members and the partners that is working together to come up with new robotic solutions, integrating more AI technology, that's how we can help industries become, what we say in ABB, leaner and cleaner. Leaner, more productive, because productivity and just with the shrinking labor workforce that we face also in China and in many countries today, gaining productivity becomes key because we still need growth, but at the same time we need to do it with less workforce. So that really plays to the whole robotics story, and that's kind of the sweet spot of what we do with robotics. At the same time, we also need to do it cleaner. We need to cut emissions, and that's the rest of the ABB portfolio comes in as well to help. That's the two things that plays well together, and that's why we see that China for us is a very interesting market also for the future, and we have a lot of opportunities here in the time to come. As I say, tough competition, but with a strong starting position, and then it's all up to us.
Do you have some examples that we can share with us at ABB, how ABB has helped China to upgrade its industrial manufacturing.
Yeah, you see today the traditional areas in the automotive sector, and especially now with the electric vehicle, we see also that many of the Chinese cars that rolls on the road today, it is painted with ABB robots, or the assembly is done by ABB robots. This is more the traditional side. But then we even have new applications. I saw also one of the soup kitchens in Shanghai that used ABB robotics for that you can make your own noodle soup with the same recipe every time, or you can even individualize it. This is the new opportunity we have with robotics, and that's another kind of a completely difference in the more in the restaurant industry that you can, in the food industry that you can do it as well. So these are just two from a traditional to a completely new applications, and then you have everything in the middle from the how we are able today in the electronic industry, in the all the smartphones, when they are assembled, there is man and robot working very much together, what we call collaborative robots that can work side by side without any fencing around the robot. That's another strong area for ABB. So this is how we help industries become leaner and be more efficient on a day-to-day basis. So the companies being the best of adopting AI will be the winners in the market. Those who don't, I think, will fall behind and die.
Definitely, absolutely, we are entering an AI age. And people also say that we are entering a robotic age.
Robotics and AI is two sides of the same coin.
Why Shanghai?
Shanghai has been a technology center, especially with our robotics factory that we have there and the team.
You mentioned before that there will be a very important AI event in Shanghai Gigafactory ABB this May. Tell us something about this event.
Yeah, we want to adopt AI wider in our own organization, but also with partners, academia, customers, that we can all bring. Collaboration is one of the 4 values of ABB. And bringing people together, understanding and sharing information, sharing knowledge, that's kind of when you're able to become more innovative and more creative. So we use these as special events, this AI accelerator that you're able to get, as I say, people together, skill sets together, smart people collaborate and working and coming up with new ideas, maybe things that we haven't thought about at ABB already. We have a lot of good people at the company, but when you can add all the partners around, then you get even better. So that's kind of the whole idea of the AI accelerator, that we kind of join forces and are able to, and we use our Shanghai robotics factory, our mega factory there, as a place to do it. And I think that's a great learning ground also to see things, how we make robots makes robots, how we can deploy AI even wider, and coming up with new ideas. That's the part of ABB and our technology leadership at one place. So I think that's a great event. And I'm sure that also the outcome and the enthusiasm around it and the understanding of how AI can be deployed, that is a great opportunity for us now.
Why Shanghai?
Shanghai has been a technology center, especially with our robotics factory that we have there and the team. We're not only making robotics, we have motor factories, we have many other technology units, but that has been a key area for us at ABB. And the Shanghai development area and where we have our unit, we also have a lot of other partners and customers and also academia. So when you can bring people together in the same site, I think that Shanghai has been a kind of the technology center for us at ABB, and that's why we start there.
Thank you, Morten. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.